This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, second day of the week, it's Tuesday. Okay, and here's what's going on today. We got France beating Belgium. We're going to be talking about that right now. Okay, we got Melo. More news coming about him. Honestly, I think he's going to be going to Houston, but I'll give my thoughts on that in the next segment. Okay, he's going to be meeting with a few teams, so we'll talk about all of that, see what he could bring to a team. And then for the third segment, we got Cristiano Ronaldo going to Juventus. I'll talk about that. What does it mean as far as, can this bring the Serie A up? And then for the fourth segment, we will be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. All right. So that's how today's show is going to go. And, moving over to the World Cup, okay, watching that Belgium and France game, I think it wasn't, I don't know, okay, there was opportunities and all. Maybe you would have expected more goals, but it is a semifinal matchup, and I don't know if it's the right word, but you are going to see these teams, like we saw France and Belgium at the start of the game, and you could tell they weren't really opening up or anything like that. A bit timid, a bit tense. I know the guys on the Fox broadcast were talking about it. But nonetheless, I'd say it was a pretty good game. Okay? Honestly. Yeah, it was 1-0. Yeah, we had time wasting at the end. Some France players rolling around. But nonetheless, I think it was an entertaining game. And it was a game where, Belgium, if they would have been a bit more clinical, could have possibly won it. Okay? It's not like it was just pure dominance by France, okay? Belgium did have their opportunities to go out and score. It's just a matter of they couldn't put it in the back of the net. And I think one player who had a pretty poor game today was Lukaku. Okay? Started off the tournament red hot. Currently is tied with Ronaldo for second as far as goals scored in this tournament, 2 behind Harry Kane. But like I said, since the group, he hasn't really done too much, I'd say. All right, let me see the last game he scored in. So against Japan, obviously, he didn't score there. All right, against Brazil, no goal from him there. No goal from him there. All right. So I'm assuming his last goal came in it was their second match. All right. Let me double check that real quick. Let me pick up real quick. Let's see. So his last goal came against Tunisia. He scored 2 goals there. All right, scored 2 goals in their first match, scored 2 goals in their second group stage match. Since then, has not put a goal in the back of the net. Of course, he does have an opportunity to score some more in the third place game, whether that be against Croatia or England. But like I said, Lukaku was really disappointing in this match, and he's been disappointing since that second group stage match because he hasn't scored. Okay? Sure, he can create space and all that, but when you're the only forward up top, you're going to need to put the ball in the back of the net. All right? And looking at what he did today, he was He was just there. He was just taking up a spot in the field. Okay? He didn't have any shots on goal. He had 1 shot off target. And he just wasn't active enough. All right? And that hurts Belgium. Because, you can't constantly rely on guys like Hazard, De Bruyne, and all that to get the job done, to put the ball in the back of the net. All right? You're going to need Lukaku, who's your striker up top, to do something. All right? But of course, it didn't work out that way. And as for France, I mean, speaking of forwards, their forwards didn't get on the score sheet, but nonetheless, Samuel Umtiti ended up scoring a header off of, I think it was a Griezmann set piece. All right, if I remember correctly. And Umtiti, I mean, he hasn't necessarily, like today he looked kind of, at least in the beginning, looked kind of off a bit. I mean, there was times where he tried clearing the ball and he'd mishit it. I mean, he failed to, there. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, to start the game, it seemed like each team was going to have their chances, and it also seemed that these goalies were going to, there. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, to start the game, it seemed like each team was going to have their chances, and it also seemed that these goalies were going to pretty much just have the game of their lives, all right? Because there were so many opportunities where Belgium could have got a goal and where France could have got a couple more, all right? You had Hugo Lloris with 3 saves, all right? He had 2 punches. Let's see. 2 clearances also. Courtois had 4 saves, 3 of them inside the box. And, I mean, Courtois honestly was Belgium's best player today, if not for Hazard. All right, because Courtois did well to keep Belgium in this game. All right, I will give it to Hazard. He was very active. All right, completed 96% of his passes, completed 48 total. All right, completed all of his long balls. Completed 10 out of his 11 dribble attempts. Won 16 out of his 21 duels. All these stats courtesy of SofaScore 2 also. But nonetheless, I mean, Belgium just came up short. Okay? They had their opportunities. They just couldn't put it in the back of the net. And I'd say that France was the better team today. All right? Yesterday, I did pick France to win. It's just, I mean, as good as Belgium have looked, France are just, there's just something about France right now. I can't really put my finger on it exactly what I want to, like, it's just, there's something about France where I'm not sure. Okay? This team is just different right now. All right, looking at France, I mean, they had 19 shots in this game, only 36% of the possession. Belgium took 9. Okay, and I mean, even with France leading the match in the second half, you still had them taking more shots and had more on target. All right, France are just a better team here. As good as Belgium have played, they're just not on the level of France right now. Okay, you got France beating Argentina, then they beat Uruguay, then they beat Belgium. I mean, I'd say that France has probably had the most difficult route to the final. All right? I mean, Belgium played Japan. They did play Brazil. They lost to France, okay? England have had to play Colombia, Sweden. Now they'll be meeting up Croatia. And Croatia, I mean, they beat Denmark and Russia. All right? France, without a doubt, has got to be the best team in the tournament right now. All right? Belgium was looking good. I was talking them up yesterday, but like I said, I mean, there's just something about France where the way they've been playing, I mean, how can you pick against them? All right? The second youngest team at the tournament, on the verge of winning the whole thing. Got one more match left. Okay, whether that's against Croatia or England remains to be seen. All right, but I mean, this is what, France's 3rd World Cup final in the last 6 tournaments. Okay, and with France, like 2010, 2014 were real bad tournaments for them. Okay. I know they made it to the quarterfinals in 14, but honestly, they should have did a whole lot more. 2010 was just a dumpster fire for them. I remember that squad problems. And, I mean, losing to Mexico and not making it out the group past Uruguay was a problem. Okay, 2006, you had Zidane headbutting the Italian player, which sent him off, wasn't there for the penalty shootout. Okay. And then 1998 was the last time they won it. And, I mean, here they are now, and I mean, this has probably got to be one of their better teams. And one thing that was really funny to watch, to check for, was Thierry Henry. He's assistant coach for Belgium, obviously a France legend. And, I mean, France scores. Obviously you, how do you say, you don't want France to win if you're Henry coaching for Belgium, but there's got to be a little bit inside of him thinking, like maybe a little of excitement. Okay, I know Belgium's writing his check, but I mean, France is your home country. So, like I said, now we got France in the final. And as for Belgium, I mean, let me look at the age of their squad again. All right, and we'll see if they could have another run, because this is their golden generation right here. I think with Hazard, I mean, he's 27 right now, so he'll be 31 by the next World Cup. He'll probably be back. Lukaku's 25. Batshuayi's 24. Mertens won't be back. He'll be 35. Unless somehow he's still playing great at that age. All right. Januzaj, he's 23, but he doesn't really seem like a player. I mean, he'd have to play extremely well to make it back, I think. Okay, De Bruyne is 27, so he still has another one. Carrasco's 24. Tielemans, who really didn't play much at all, is 21 right now, so you can bring him back. Hazard's younger brother, Thorgan, is 25, so we'll see. I mean, he hasn't really played much either, but nonetheless, he's brought on the squad. Witzel's 29, so he'll be 33 by the next World Cup. That's going to be pushing it a bit, but maybe if he's still playing well at that age, you could bring him back. Dembele's 30. I don't see him coming back. All right, you got Leander Denacher, who's 23, didn't really play much either. This is probably Fellaini's last World Cup. Chadley played well, I'd say, in this World Cup. He's 28, so by 32, if he's still on the top, like a decent squad, getting regular minutes, and I could see him coming back. The only thing that kind of worries me about this Belgium team with the next World Cup is their defense. All right, Toby Alderweireld's 29, Vertonghen's 31 right now. Meunier he'll be 30 by the next World Cup, so he'll still be around. Company's 32, Vermaelen's 32, Boyata's 27, so he'll be back. All right, I'd say that, I mean, it's going to be tough bringing back Vertonghen and Alderweireld and all those guys because they're going to be near 35, 34. Okay, well, Alderweireld will be 33, so maybe you could bring him back. Vertonghen's going to be 35, Company will be 36, Vermaelen's going to be 36. I don't see you bringing back Company or Vermaelen. All right, and then you got Courtois, who is 26, so he'll still be a starting keeper for the next World Cup, barring injury or any bad form. All right, so I mean, they probably do have one more chance, but I'd say as far as their best chance, it was this tournament. Okay, now you pretty much just hope and wait for the next one and hope you do as well as you did here. And I mean, as for France, second youngest team of the tournament, they could be very well back in the final next tournament. All right, all these players are going to be hitting their prime. I mean, if you're looking at it, Mbappe's 19, he's got 3 more World Cups left in him. Okay, Griezmann's 27, he's got 1 more, I'd say. Dembele's only 21. Giroud probably won't be back, so he'll be 35. Pogba's 25, Lamar's 22. All right, Fekir is 24, Kante's 27, Alvin's 25, Tolisso is 23, and Nzonzi's 29 right now, so he might not be back. He'll be 31 by the next World Cup. 33, excuse me. All right, Matuidi's currently 31. He'll be 35, so I highly doubt he'll be back. And as for the defense, I mean, they're all extremely young, so they'll be bringing them all back. All right, and as for the goalkeeper, I mean, Hugo Lloris is 31, so he'll be 35 by the next, but but goalkeepers tend to age pretty well as far as their position because you don't got to do much besides keep the ball at the back of the net, so I'm sure we'll see him. But nonetheless, I mean, France were the deserved winners here. They were the better team. All right, as well as Belgium played, I mean, France did well to stay organized in the back, and they got the job done. All right, so good on them. Tomorrow we got England and Croatia, so we'll see how that goes down. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about Melo. We talked about him on Friday. We're going to be talking about more about him right now. So stay tuned for that, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. Spent that first segment talking about France and Belgium's matchup. We now got France advancing to the World Cup final. Belgium going to be playing in a third-place match. Going to be playing the loser of England or Croatia. And, I mean, with Belgium, this was probably their best chance as far as this golden generation to get a World Cup win. World Cup championship win. They do have an opportunity in the next World Cup. Still have a lot of their best players coming back who are probably going to be around the age of 30, but nonetheless still probably able to play. All right, but like I said, I think this was their best chance to win it, given all these players are in their prime right now. All right. So, we'll see how it all goes for Belgium. Golden generation. I don't want to say that this was a failed tournament for Belgium either. Okay, because, it's difficult to make it to the final, obviously. You don't need me to tell you that. All right. And, it's once you get to the semifinals, any team could win. Okay, we could have Russia in the semifinals. They could play France, and Russia would still have a decent chance to win. Just because, if you're in the semifinals, you're obviously there for a reason. You deserve to be there. Okay, so, I'm not going to say that this is a terrible tournament, failure of a tournament for France. If anything, I say it's probably still successful. Of course, I'm sure all those players were coming into it, the mindset, yeah, the goal is to win. But like I said, it's not the easiest thing to do. Okay, I'm sure if they finish third, that would be a nice little consolation for them. Okay. But now we move on over to the NBA. All right. Last week it was made known that, I'm sure we all pretty much knew, but free agency and all that going on, that the Thunder were going to try and figure out a way to get rid of Melo, whether that was buying him out or maybe possibly trying to trade him. And Melo at this point in his career is almost done. Okay, I think I brought up on Friday's episode the 2003 draft class. All right, there's only one player who's still playing at a high level. That's LeBron. All right, so obviously he's the outlier in that draft class. Everyone else is either out the league, coaching the Lakers, or on their way out. All right, I think David West was in that draft class. He is still playing for the Warriors, but nonetheless, he doesn't really have too much left. He could even retire this offseason. Okay. Let me take another look at that draft class. All right. So let's see. You had Braun going 1. Like I said, still playing at a high level. Darko's been out the league since I can remember. All right. Melo, like I said, he's in the end of his career. Bosh still seems trying to make a comeback, but obviously he's got that problem he's got. I'm not sure if he'll ever come back. All right. Dwayne Wade I think he might be contemplating retirement, but if anything, he's just a role player now. The guy off the bench, a vet that you need on maybe a contender. Okay, a guy to help your young core, possibly kind of like a Vince Carter type. Chris Kaman out the league. Kirk Heinrich out the league. All right, TJ Ford. I don't even think he really ever did much. All right, let's see. Michael Petrus has been out the league. Nick Collison out the league. Let's see. Luke Ridnour out the league. I'm only naming the notable names right here. All right, David West, like I said, might be contemplating retirement. Could come back to the Warriors maybe for one more year, but he's at the end of his career. Okay, Alexander Pavlovich out the league. Boris Diaw at the league. Let's see. Travis Outlaw, he's out. Carlos Delfino is out. Kendrick Perkins he was on the Cavs this year, but was more so just a bench cheerleader. All right, Leandro Barbosa's out. Josh Howard, obviously out. Okay. Jason Capone's out. Luke Walton, like I said, is coaching the Lakers. Steve Blake's gone. It says Zaura Pachulia. Is that Zaza or is that someone else? All right. Keith Bogans is out. Matt Bonner's out. Mo Williams is out. James Jones gone. Korver's still doing the thing. I'd say he's probably got a couple more years, but, he's 37, so he's on the back end of his career there. So, like I said, Melo obviously was a great player, and I think the problem with Melo's career was that front offices tried building a team around him. All right, Melo is as good of a scorer as he is. He's a second-tier superstar. He's not a guy you build a team around. All right, people are going to say, "Oh, what are you talking about? That makes no sense." Look at Denver and look at New York. You can come up with all the excuses as you want, but he still was never able to lead the team. All right, sure, he made the playoffs once with the Knicks and made it to the second round after beating an old Boston Celtics team. All right, but nonetheless, as far as his bad play, he's just old now. All right, Melo's at the point in his career where he was good enough to where his name is going to carry him for a couple more years. All right, that's why he's going to get a starting spot this season. All right, I was having a conversation with Tate and Ryan yesterday. I believe Ryan does the Weird News podcast and the TV one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but we were talking about like how many minutes Melo could get next season, and I was pointing out that he's probably still going to get 20 to 25 minutes a game. Okay. I mean, he still got the Carmelo Anthony name. Okay. People still think he could do something. Nobody realizes that. I mean, he's just old. All right. I think he's currently 34 right now, but I mean, as far as it all goes, he did have his worst shooting season last year. All right. And as far as teams he could go to this season, I think it's going to be Houston. Okay. They lost Mbah Moute. They lost Ariza. You need a guy like Melo there. All right. And honestly, Houston is the only team where I could see Melo probably having a decent year. Okay. Just given the way that they play. I've seen that the Lakers have been interested. I don't think that happens given the fact that, I mean, does he come off the bench or is he a starter on that Lakers team? Okay. I mean, idealistically, logically, he's off the bench. All right, but like I said, there's still some substance to his name. Okay, his name is still going to carry him for a year or two. All right. People, when they hear Carmelo Anthony, like I see it on social media too, no one really thinks that Melo is washed yet. Everyone just thinks that his year in OKC was just due to the fact that it just wasn't a good fit. All right. Me, I'm not really buying into that. Father time comes for everyone. All right, and I think it's finally coming for Melo. And let me see. With Oklahoma City, averaged 16 points. Yeah, 16 points. Didn't really shoot the ball well at all. Year before that, with New York, averaged 22. Okay. 2014, averaged 21. Let's see, actually, that was 2015, averaged 21. 2014, averaged 24. I mean, Melo hasn't really been a high points per game player since, I guess, that 2014 season, if you're considering the 24, or 2013, where he averaged 27. Okay. His numbers have been going down since 2015. So, I mean, it is logical to think, yeah, he's just on the back end of his career. All right. So, I think he is going to end up in Houston. I mean, that's a place where he could start. He's going to be getting paid by by Oklahoma City because of that buyout. So, I doubt that he's really going to care about what Houston's offering him. Okay. But also, a team I could see Melo going to that could offer him a decent amount of money if he weren't to go to Houston is Charlotte. Okay. And this isn't like something I've seen or anything like that. This is just purely out of my head. All right. And Charlotte, I think, makes sense because Michael Jordan isn't a smart team front office guy. All right. And with them bringing in Tony Parker to be the backup, that's not necessarily a rebuilding move. That's a we want to make the playoffs type of move. Okay. And I'm sure Michael Jordan has it in his head if he can get Carmelo Anthony's team, this is a playoff team. All right. And if Charlotte were to offer Melo more than anyone else would, Melo would end up at Charlotte. All right, it's the ultimate Michael Jordan move. Okay. And I just think that, of course, like I said, there's no basis to this or anything like that. This is just something that I came up with off my head, just putting two and two together. All right. So, I mean, Charlotte for me would be a sleeper team. But realistically, I think he's going to end up in Houston. I think, like I said, he could be a decent fit there because all you got to do is sit on the three-point line and play iso ball. All right. That's Melo's game right there. Don't do too much on offense unless you got the ball in your hands. The only problem is not a great defender. All right. Ariza at least could defend. So could Mbah Moute. So we'll see where he ends up going. But like I said, I think it's going to be Houston. My little theory, maybe Charlotte could come in. Michael Jordan could do a Michael Jordan move. I mean, the guy did draft Adam Morrison and Kwame Brown. So we'll see how it all ends up. But the Melo sweepstakes looks like they're going to be heating up a bit. I mean, he's going to be meeting with Miami too, and OKC is allowing him to meet with teams. So we'll see exactly where he ends up. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo going to Juventus. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. Today, so far, we've talked about today's World Cup match between France and Belgium. We had France winning that one 1-0. All right, and then we also talked about Carmelo Anthony in the second segment. All right. And now we're going to be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. It's now official. He's no longer a Real Madrid player. All right. One of the biggest superstars in the world. Probably the biggest star in the world. I mean, the dude's bigger than LeBron, I'd say. He's bigger than Tom Brady worldwide. Now, going to be heading over to Italy, playing with Juventus. I think it's like a €105 fee. Okay. And, I mean, looking at the move, I think maybe it was a matter of Real Madrid weren't willing to pay Ronaldo what he wanted for this, like for his new contract. Because looking at what Juventus is going to be paying him, it's going to be 120 over 4 years, so that means he'll be making about $30 million a year. Well, yeah, $30 million a year. All right. And at the age of 33, obviously, you're going to be a bit hesitant, but it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, has he shown anything so far at this age to show that, yeah, he's on the downward spiral of his career? And I mean, a 4-year deal at Juventus means that, who knows, he could, all right, play at the next World Cup. It's very much a possibility with this 4-year deal, and I didn't even realize that till now. All right, yeah, Ronaldo's 33, but nonetheless, if he's still playing at a high level, well, a decent level for Juventus, by the 4th year, why wouldn't Portugal bring him back for the World Cup? Okay? I mean, it would make no sense there. Ronaldo's still a great player, and I'm sure a 75% Ronaldo was still better than a couple of players who are in their primes on Portugal at that time, 4 years from now. All right. So obviously he's going to be going there. I mean, there was always talks maybe if Ronaldo left, would he end up back at Manchester United, or maybe could he make a run over into the MLS? All right. I think as far as the MLS goes, Ronaldo's too good to be playing there right now, and I'm not trying to discredit the MLS, but it's true. Okay, there's no one in the MLS that comes 10 times near Ronaldo's ability. All right, the dude's still one of the best players of all time. Why are you going to go play for a club like maybe the LA Galaxy or whoever else can afford you when you can go over to Juventus and still compete in Champions League and play well? All right. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, and I feel bad for Gigi Buffon. Keeper left to PSG, and then literally like a week later, 2 weeks later, you got Ronaldo coming to Juventus. All right? Champions League is the only thing that's really stayed out of Buffon's reach, and now, I mean, Juventus have a way better shot than PSG do. All right? I say Juventus got to be one of the favorites to win it. All right? Them and Barcelona probably. Okay, maybe Manchester City's in there, but nonetheless, I mean, I'd say right now Juventus and Man City are the two best teams. All right, so what does Ronaldo's move to Juventus mean? All right, the Serie A hasn't really, I think it's the Calcio out now, but nonetheless, I'm always going to call it Serie A. All right, the Serie A it used to be a great league, okay? And meaning, like, we used to pay attention to it, okay? We pay attention a lot to La Liga and the Premier League. The Bundesliga gets some coverage, all right? League One, no one pays attention to. I think Serie A, no one pays attention to, really. Okay? And with the Serie A, I think the problem has been that there's been no competition. All right? And, yeah, there's no competition because Juventus have won the title every time since 2011. Okay? Personally, I think the reason why the Serie A is so down is because you got teams like Inter Milan and AC Milan who have honestly been terrible for a while. All right? They were once great teams, and I'm not really sure what exactly happened and why they just became so poor as a team. But nonetheless, you want the Serie A to step up. You need teams like that to be good. Okay, I get Napoli and all that came close. But nonetheless, I mean, after that, you had Roma, who was about 15 points back. Okay? And, I mean, adding Ronaldo to Juventus doesn't really change anything to the Serie A besides the fact that Ronaldo's playing in the Serie A. Okay, it doesn't change up the competition. Okay, I mean, without Ronaldo, Juventus were still the favorites to win the Serie A title. Alright. Nothing has literally changed. If anything, they're even more favorites. Okay, and it opens up even more of a gap between them and all those other teams. Alright. And I mean, for the Serie A, it stinks because you got AC Milan, who I think is going to be getting a transfer ban pretty soon, or if anything, has it already. All right? So it's going to be difficult for them to really do anything. All right? But as far as Inter, they brought in Nangolan, so they're trying to make a comeback. Okay? Maybe I saw that they were trying to go after Moussa Dembele too, the Tottenham center mid. That'd be a nice little 1-2 pairing in the midfield, Dembele and Nangolan. All right, but other than that, I mean, yeah, I don't see the Serie A ratings picking up or anything like that because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe just for Juventus games, but other than that, I mean, no one's going to be tuning in to watch Lazio, Napoli, or anything like that, except for the people who already were. There's not going to be any new added viewers. All right, like I said, except for the Ronaldo fans who want to watch Juventus now. Okay. And I'm curious to see what Real Madrid do. I mean, maybe I think that you go after Neymar. I know it's going to be a difficult task given the fact that he just came to PSG. He's only spent a year there, and he's going to be extremely expensive to pick up. I think maybe if Neymar doesn't work out, then you possibly go after a guy like Harry Kane because you're going to need a solid goal scorer. All right, Karim Benzema, not really what he used to be anymore. Okay, so maybe you go after Harry Kane. Maybe you go after Kane and Hazard, possibly. Okay? You swap Benzema to Tottenham or wherever. All right, send him out, transfer him out, and bring in Kane and Hazard. Madrid's still favorites to win, one of the favorites to win Champions League that way. Okay? Obviously, if you bring in Neymar, I mean, you don't have to do much else because he's a really game-changing player. I mean, the only bad thing about Neymar is the fact that he flops way too much. All right. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I don't really see this doing anything really great for the Serie A except for maybe Juventus' ratings. Okay. I mean, they're still not as competitive as the Premier League, and they still don't have the amount of quality, talented players that La Liga does. Okay? People will point out, oh, well, La Liga only has Barcelona and Real Madrid. Yeah, you might say that, but I mean, we always do seem to have a Spanish team winning the Europa League. All right, we always do have a Spanish team winning the Champions League. Okay? And like I said, I mean, you got stars like Messi and all that on Barcelona. Okay, you had Gareth Bale, Ramos, and all those guys on Madrid. Of course, people are going to come and tune in. Okay, whereas in Serie A, you have Juventus. All right, they got Dybala, Higuain, who I think is maybe going to be making a move to Chelsea, I saw. All right, now Ronaldo. Other than that, I mean, who else is a star player in the Serie A that's a big name like those other guys I just named? All right, there's not many. Okay. And as far as the Premier League, I mean, Premier League's the most competitive league, probably one of the most competitive leagues in the world. All right. The balance is good. I mean, of course, you do have your solid top 6 teams in Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Chelsea. But nonetheless, teams like Burnley and all that will give them a competition. It's not just a matter of a blowout every time. All right. That's where the Serie A needs to go. Either that or you start bringing in more star players like La Liga does. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, Ronaldo, nice move to Juventus. I could see him playing in the next World Cup. But nonetheless, as far as the ratings and bringing back the Serie A to the top, I don't really see that happening. So we'll see, though. I mean, I could be wrong. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we talked about Ronaldo going to Juventus, we talked about France beating Belgium, and we talked about Carmelo Anthony. All right, Melo isn't that good anymore. I think he's just old. I mean, he was a good player over the course of his career. Mistakes made by front offices trying to build around him. He's a second-tier superstar, but nonetheless, I mean, I think he could be decent with Houston. He's not obviously going to be the Melo he was with Denver or early on with New York. But nonetheless, I think he could do a job there given the way that they run their offense. All right? And like I said, don't sleep on Charlotte. That's not a report or anything like that. That's just something coming from me. It's just a little 2 and 2 I put together. All right? And now we move on, like I said, talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. LaShawn McCoy might be in some big trouble. All right. I believe it was his ex-girlfriend today who came out and posted a picture too of her face all busted up. And I can't remember if it happened recently or if it happened before. Okay, LaShawn McCoy says, well, let me give the gist of it. Okay, so the picture's posted, I think, by his ex-girlfriend about how like her face and all that's all, like I said, beat up and everything. She claims that LaShawn McCoy did it. She's also abused his son and their dog. And he's also taken steroids and did illegal drugs. All right. That all came out this morning. And you have LaShawn McCoy later on denying it, saying that he hasn't had contact with them in months. Okay. So obviously the situation's real fresh. You got the Bills investigating it along with the NFL. All right, I saw that the Bills have talked to LaShawn McCoy already. And it's a point where, like I said, man, this is the worst part of the month in the NFL because we have all the suspensions, the arrests, and stuff like this coming out. Okay, obviously this is a bad spot too. I mean, like I said, it's all still fresh, so none of us really know exactly what exactly happened or what's going on. All right, but nonetheless, let's say that this is true. LaShawn McCoy doesn't have a future in the NFL. Okay, and that's just fact of the matter. I mean, I don't think the Bills bring him back if it's true, and I don't think any other team does. I mean, Ray Rice has been out the league since that video of him and his wife came out in that elevator. All right, there's no way that anyone brings LaShawn McCoy onto their team, given that it seems that fans and all that are starting to scrutinize NFL teams for bringing on the Greg Hardys and all that. Okay, now it seems something that's finally frowned upon. All right. Only took so long as far as everything else. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, this all just came out today, so, I mean, we all just got to wait and see how the investigation goes. But nonetheless, like I said, if this is all true, then, yeah, LaShawn McCoy shouldn't play another down in the NFL. At least that's my opinion. All right. But nonetheless, that's a story that came out today. Okay, let's see what else is going on right now. Serena Williams played today. All right. Dropped her first set, actually, 6-3. I think that's the first set she's dropped all tournament so far that I've been paying attention to. All right. Ended up winning the next 2 sets. Shows she won in 3 sets, is now in the Wimbledon semifinals. All right. I mean, is there any way that she doesn't win this tournament? And isn't it a bit crazy that Serena Williams gave birth recently? All right. And now she's back dominating. Over on the men's side, we had Juan Martín del Potro winning also. He won in 4 sets, the 5th seed at that tournament. Let me see. Tomorrow we got Wednesday. Who's playing tomorrow? We got Djokovic, Federer, Nadal playing del Potro, and John Isner playing tomorrow. All right. I believe this is the quarterfinal, if I'm not mistaken, since we got the 4 matches going on. All right, yeah, so it's the quarterfinals. I mean, Nadal, Isner, Federer, Djokovic, semifinals, doesn't sound too bad. All right. And like I said, over in the women's side, let's see, do they play Thursday? Yeah, so Serena plays in the semifinals on Thursday against Julia Georges. And then you got Angelique Kerber playing Jelena Ostapenko. All right. Winner of those 2 matches will go on to the Wimbledon final. All right. And I mean, like I said, it's just pure dominance from Serena Williams, honestly. I mean, it's ridiculous how well she's doing so far. All right. So there's that. Let's check out yesterday's MLB score, see what's going on. But nonetheless, like I said, Serena Williams, Wimbledon, almost seems like she's going to be winning that tournament. Okay, so yesterday for Monday, MLB scores, we had the Orioles beating the Yankees 5-4. I believe they had a doubleheader yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they did. Orioles won that first game 5-4. Let me check. The second game, you had the Yankees winning that one 10-2. All right, so they split. Also had the Phillies and Mets in a doubleheader. Mets won the first game 4-3. As for the second one, the Phillies ended up winning that one 3-1, so they split also. All right, as for the other games, you had the Pirates beating the Nationals 6-3. Nationals, I'm not even sure they'll be making the playoffs this season. They're not looking too good right now. They're at 500 currently. All right. Red Sox beat the Rangers 5-0. Red Sox are on an absolute tear right now. J.D. Martinez hit his 28th homer of the season. And one thing I saw, too, is he doesn't have too many multi-homer games. All right? I think he's got the league lead for homers right now. And, I mean, the dude is just as consistent as you could ask. All right? It's been a bit ridiculous, okay? And this is good for the Red Sox, too, because ever since Ortiz retired, they've been looking for that big bat, that guy that you fear in the middle of the lineup. And that's obviously J.D. Martinez. And, I mean, the Red Sox got to be real happy. You got Eduardo Rodriguez winning yet again another start. He's 11-3 so far this year with a 3.62 ERA. Alex Cora has his team playing extremely well. I mean, it's night and day compared to the last few seasons with John Farrell. All right. So, like I said, you had the Red Sox winning 5-0. We had the Reds beating the Indians 7-5. The Marlins beating the Brewers 4-3 in 10 innings. Okay, the Rays beating the Tigers in 10 innings, 10-9. Let's see, we had the Twins beating the Royals 3-1. The A's, look at those swinging A's. All right, they knocked off the Astros 2-0. All right. I mean, is this that A's year where they go on a crazy little win streak and they make the playoffs and get bounced into the wild card round? Is that what we got going on here? All right. And I hate to say get bounced in the wild card round, but that's what they do. Okay? I mean, the last few times I made the postseason, it's in and out. All right? But nonetheless, I mean, I just wish that the A's ownership their owners would dump some money into this team. Okay? It's not like Billy Beane is just saying, I'm not going to spend any of this money. I'm just going to try and get, I'm going to get the cheaper players, the analytics guys. All right? The A's have never been able to go out and get a big-name free agent. They haven't even been able to keep their own big-name players. Okay, it's a bit ridiculous how the owners don't put money into this team. All right? And imagine if you gave Billy Beane some money to work with. All right, he's already getting great, decent players with no money. What do you think he could do with money? All right, it's a bit ridiculous. I don't understand why the A's are so cheap, but nonetheless they are. But here they are, beating the Astros 2-0. All right, A's now 51-40. The Astros 61-32. Okay. And the Dodgers knocking off the Padres yesterday 8-2, and then the Giants beating the Cubs 2-1 in 11 innings. Pablo Sandoval with the walk-off homer there. All right, let's take another look at the standings. We got the Red Sox, who are still in first in the AL East. All right, they're currently up 2.5 games on the Yankees. All right, the Indians still, I don't even need to update you on the AL Central. The Indians are going to be winning that division, and that's easily the worst division in baseball, all right? I'm under the impression, why don't we just keep the whole AL Central out of the playoffs, throw the A's in there. All right. And speaking of the A's, they're currently 9 games back of the Astros in the AL West, 6 games back of the Mariners for that second wildcard spot. All right, and as for the National League, in the East, you got the Braves and Phillies, currently same record, 50-39. All right, tied for first in that division. Nationals are 5.5 games back, so the Nationals aren't completely out of it, but nonetheless, they just haven't been too convincing so far this season. All right, over in the NL Central, we got the Brewers up 1.5 games up on the Cubs. Brewers currently 54-37. They're 7 games up on the Cardinals. And then over in the AL West, not much has really changed. The Giants are now in third instead of the Rockies, but nonetheless, Diamondbacks still in first, 0.5 game up on the Dodgers. Giants 3 games back there, Rockies 3.5. Padres, they signed Eric Hosmer in the offseason. I think we all knew that wasn't really going to lead to them winning too many more ball games. They're currently dead last in that NL West. All right, looking at the wild card standings, we got the Yankees, who are 3 games up on the Mariners for that number 1 spot. Like I said, the A's are 6 games back of the Mariners for that second spot. This is what the A's do, man. All right, I'm not sleeping on them as far as catching that second spot. The A's always have a season like this. Okay, so like I said, the A's are 6 games back. The Tampa Bay Rays are currently 10 games back, 10.5. So, it's going to come down to Oakland and Seattle for that second wildcard spot. And then over in the NL, we got the Cubs 1.5 games up on the Braves or Phillies, depending on who I guess has the lead in that division. All right, so, obviously you got one team who's leading the NL East, one team's going to have that second spot. But as far as who's behind them, you got the Dodgers 1.5 games back for that second spot, Cardinals 4 games back, Giants 4 games back, Rockies 4.5, Nationals 5.5, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates 8.5. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But nonetheless, we finally had LeBron signing his deal, so he's officially a Laker now. Officially the greatest Laker to ever be on the team. All right. And, I guess that Stevenson said that LeBron reached out to him, said he likes what he brings to the team, so maybe they're friends now. All right. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Today we've talked about France and Belgium, their World Cup match. Okay, we talked Melo, we talked Ronaldo, and then for this segment, we touched a little bit on the LaShawn McCoy story. Again, if it's true, we probably shouldn't even play another down in the NFL ever again. We talked Wimbledon, Serena Williams still dominating, and then we gave an update on the MLB standings and scores from yesterday. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.